the beginning of the story, we see a hitman preparing to eliminate his target with a sniper rifle almost larger than his own body. His target is a retired company agent who is enjoying life with young girls using his pension money. Shockingly, 5 people are assigned to kill this one old man, including the very girl who is getting intimate with him. The sniper finally fires, but he misses. The bullet only grazes the target. Immediately, the rest of the team storms into the mansion and tears the agent's chest apart with bullets. Once the job is done, their boss sends a helicopter to extract the hitman. We then shift to another agent, Duncan, who is only a few days away from retirement. These agents are professional killers who work for a contract-based assassin company. Duncan is one of their deadliest veterans. In his censorship career, he has killed so many people that even the company jokes he should take a vacation. He has no family, no official records, no identity, a true ghost. That's what makes him different from other killers. Duncan meets his accountant, who tells him he will receive bad $1 million upon retirement. That's loter sus million in total for his 3 decades of loyalty. As always, Duncan donates $1 million of it. Who he donates to or where the money goes, even the accountant has no idea. Next, we see the company manager, Vivian, attending the condolence meeting of the retired agent who was just murdered. Duncan is there too, but he keeps himself hidden. He asks Vivian who killed Michael. He had already retired, his record was clean, so why was he targeted? Vivian explains that the Russian mafia is behind it. They have killed 4 of their agents in the last month, all of them either retired or about to retire. She shows Duncan a photo of their leader and says, "This is the man. The boss wants to give you one last job. Kill him. This will be your final mission." Duncan refuses. "There are other agents," he says. "Why me?" Vivian snaps back, "Don't act like a child. I know you're angry at many things, but the boss wants you to do it. And they'll pay you well." But Duncan wants to bury his past and start fresh. He declines the mission and walks away. He goes to a shop, buys a book and a movie DVD, and notices a girl selling an abandoned dog. To ease his loneliness, he buys the dog and takes it home. Duncan lives an underground life. Wherever he goes, he leaves no trace of his existence. That night, after drinking heavily, he falls asleep. He has been alone for so long that when the dog touches his feet, he mistakes it for an enemy and shoots it. Duncan didn't really have a heart. He adopted the dog in the morning and killed it by evening. Hurt by his own mistake, he buries the poor creature and disappears back into solitude. There is a girl living next door. Duncan sees her struggling to chop firewood. The next day, he goes to the market again. This time, he buys a fish tank. Dogs and cats are not an option for him anymore. When the girl returns home, she finds all her wood neatly chopped. Duncan did it, but he never tells her. Minding his own business is his only rule in life. Meanwhile, Vivian keeps messaging him, begging him to accept the mission. Duncan keeps ignoring her. Eventually, she offers him $1 million extra. Only then does he pick up her call and say, "I'll think about it." Vivian returns to her boss Blut and tells him to forget Duncan. He's too dangerous. Blut wasn't worried at all. When Vivian said Duncan wouldn't fall into their trap so easily, Blut replied, "Why do you get so nervous talking to him? He's just a minor agent. Give him all the money he wants. In the end, he will still come to us." We then see Blut attending a high-profile meeting. The Chinese mafia has come to discuss buying his company. They ask, "Your company lost $1 million last year. Why should we buy a company already drowning in debt?" Blut admits the debt but promises everything will be handled in the next few weeks. It becomes clear why. When his great-grandfather started the company, he made a rule. Every agent would be paid loyalty money upon retirement. But when Blut rewrote the contract, he changed everything. Now, if an agent dies before retirement, the entire retirement fund goes back into the company. Blut was behind the deaths of all the recently murdered agents. He took their money and used it to clear the company's debt. The buyers demand a guarantee. kill the remaining retiring agents, and pay off all debts. Only then will we buy your company." Elsewhere, Duncan is seen heading to Russia. He has committed countless murders in his career, none of which he regrets, except for one mission that haunts him like a nightmare. In Russia, he meets a prostitute and spends the night with her. While they're getting intimate, her young son walks into the room. Duncan asks why he isn't in school. The woman replies, "You come here once a year. I don't earn enough anymore to afford his admission." Duncan asks, "How much do you charge for 2 nights? Come with me, I'll pay you well." She agrees, and he takes both mother and son to a hotel. In that same hotel, another man is waiting. He's on a call with Vivian, complaining, "Where is your man? I've been waiting too long." Vivian doesn't realize Duncan is actually standing right outside his door. Duncan makes noise pretending to do maintenance work. When the man opens the door, Duncan slices the tendons in his hands and legs. He then kills everyone in the room. Inside, he finds a file containing his photo and all his personal details. He realizes instantly someone from his own company is trying to get him killed. Duncan asks, "Who paid you to kill me?" The man refuses to answer, so Duncan shoots him. He then calls Vivian and calmly says, "Fine, I'll take your mission." Vivian immediately transfers $1 million into his account, thinking the bait has worked. But Duncan is not foolish. Vivian has no idea he has already completed the kill. The moment the money appears in his account, Duncan sends her a photo of the corpse and says, "The job is done." Vivian is stunned. Their plan fails instantly, and the company loses $1 million for nothing. Duncan demands the remaining payment within 48 hours and warns her, "Someone tried to kill me. If I find out you're involved, things will get ugly." Meanwhile, when the prostitute learns that Duncan used her and her son just to enter the hotel, she slaps him hard. "You endangered my son's life. Get out and never come back." Back at the office, an enraged Vivian confronts Blut. "What kind of useless men did you send after him? If you want us to survive, pay Duncan immediately and forget him." But Blut refuses. Instead, he sends another team to kill Duncan. The hit squad first goes to Duncan's accountant. They demand, "Where is your client?" The poor man begs for his life, but they shoot him repeatedly and steal Duncan's files. Duncan then traveled to Florida. When Cindy entered his flat, a man was already waiting for her. He assaulted her, mistaking her for a prostitute. But before he could do anything else, the rest of the team entered and killed him. Furious and shaken, Cindy stabbed his corpse repeatedly. She had never expected this mission to turn so brutal. From there, the hit squad moved to New Jersey. They questioned the tenants, asking, "Where is the owner of this house? Who do you pay rent to?" But when no one answered, they killed the tenants as well. After that, they searched houses in Texas, Michigan, and several other states. But everywhere they went, they found only renters. No trace of Duncan, the true owner. Meanwhile, in Montana, Duncan was trying to live quietly, unaware of how close danger was. One day, he ran into the neighborhood girl, Cammie, at a grocery store. Both of them lived lonely lives, and soon they became friends. Cammie teased him, "Looks like you don't have a job. Maybe you're living here because you ran out of money." Duncan lied and said he was retired, hiding the truth about what he used to do. Cammie later learned that Duncan could speak 8 languages and had visited over 99 countries. She suggested, "Why don't you teach the kids here? They could learn something from you, at least for a day." Duncan agreed and went with her to a primary school. But there he realized painfully that he knew nothing except how to kill. He ended up teaching the children how to hold weapons and even showed them what a dead body looked like. Whenever a child asked about a country, the only memories he had were of the people he had killed there: India, Brazil, England, Afghanistan, everywhere. Over time, Duncan noticed Cammie was easily frightened. One day he came to her house and handed her a gun. "From now on, you're not helpless," he said. But Cammie replied, trembling, "I don't even know how to use a gun." Duncan promised to teach her. He took her into a deserted forest and told her to aim properly. But the moment she held the gun, her hands began shaking uncontrollably. Duncan sighed gently. "It's okay. It's my fault. I shouldn't have given you a gun. I'll take it back tomorrow." Then he asked, "Why are you always so afraid?" Through tears, Cammy revealed her trauma. Years ago, when she worked at a library, the librarian had come to her drunk and assaulted her. Crying, she said, "I want to find him and put a gun to his head. Ask him why he did that to me. I want to kill him so I never see his face again." Duncan didn't show emotion, but in his mind he thought, "If I had been there, I would have killed that man myself." Meanwhile, Blud's team finally found a clue, a check detailing the bank where Duncan donated millions every year. Unfortunately, that bank was located in the same town where Duncan was currently living. The next morning, the team arrived in Montana and waited outside the bank, watching carefully. Duncan was nearby, on his way to return Cammy's gun. The moment he appeared, they spotted him. While driving home, he noticed a young woman stranded with a broken car. It was Cindy, sent to lure him. Duncan picked her up and brought her to his house. Cindy pretended she had no one to pick her up and asked if she could stay for the night. By nightfall," she whispered, "I've never slept with a man older than me." Duncan, a man hardened by vice, understood instantly. They began getting intimate. Cindy wore a wireless microphone around her neck, allowing a distant sniper to lock on to Duncan's position. The moment the sniper fired, Duncan jerked back, and the bullet tore into Cindy's shoulder. Instead, Cindy tried telling the sniper where Duncan was hiding, but before she could finish, Duncan killed the sniper. When the rest of the team rushed into the room, they realized Duncan had vanished. They scattered to search for him, but then the sniper heard a faint clicking sound behind him. He turned, and there stood Duncan, bare-skinned in the freezing cold, silent as death. Duncan shot him instantly, and then began eliminating the others, one by one. One of the operatives threatened, "I'll find you and kill you." But Duncan activated the night vision mode and hunted her through the dark. From the rhythm of her panicked breathing, he knew she was hiding behind the fridge. He fired once, blowing her head apart. Searching the bodies, Duncan found an address in one of their pockets. He followed it to a drugged girl lying in a room. In her hazy state, she accidentally revealed Plan B, mentioning the girl who receives gifts from Duncan. Duncan immediately understood. She meant Cammy. He raced to Cammy's house but found it empty. She had already been kidnapped. When he returned to the drugged girl, she too had disappeared. Desperate, Duncan went to Michigan to visit an old retired friend. The friend was shocked to see him alive and asked how many times they had tried to kill him. Duncan replied, "Twice, and now they have a girl." The friend said, "That filthy Blood must have taken her to his mansion. That's where he satisfies all his sick desires." Duncan was about to leave when the friend shook his hand, but secretly injected anesthesia into him. Duncan collapsed. His friend had betrayed him. Meanwhile, Blood was seething with rage over the death of his lover, Hilda. He growled, "What you've done can't be repaid by your death. You still have 4 days left until retirement, and I'll torture you for every second of it." Duncan soon learned they were drugging Cammy, slowly pushing her toward death. Blood taunted him. 4 days. Then I'll do everything I want to that girl in front of you, and then I'll kill her while you watch." He picked up a pair of pliers and tore into Duncan's flesh like a vulture. Duncan screamed, but Blood didn't stop. On the next day, Blood brought out his knife collection and used every blade on him one by one. Duncan's entire body bled. The floor glistened red with his blood. The torture continued into the 3rd day. Blood stabbed him in the stomach, but the blade snapped against a metal plate near Duncan's bone. "You broke my favorite blade," Blood snarled, and in his fury he gouged out Duncan's eye. The following morning was Duncan's last day before retirement. All he could think about was Cammy. In agony, he gripped a broken shard of the blade lodged in his stomach, pulled it out, and used it to break free from his handcuffs. Bound, when the guards entered to secure him, Duncan attacked. Anyone who stepped inside that room died. Hearing the screams, Blood fled toward the gate, ordering his men to stop him. Duncan fought his way out, killing everyone blocking his path. He was stabbed repeatedly in the narrow corridor and shot several times, yet he somehow remained on his feet. Eventually, he slaughtered all of them and dragged himself to another old friend, hiding his wounds. This friend, unlike the previous one, did not betray him. He treated Duncan, cared for him, and helped him recover. During this time, Duncan called Vivian to propose a deal, but she hung up the moment she realized he wanted Cammy released. Blood refused to let the girl go. Vivian finally said, "Yo, fine. The decision is made. How many men do you have?" "I want all of them." "I'm going to kill him myself." Once recovered, Duncan armed himself with a massive collection of weapons and took them to an abandoned warehouse. On the way, he called Vivian again and said, "Yo, I'll meet you tomorrow at this location. Bring Cammy with you." What Duncan didn't know was that Vivian was tracing the call. She and her team began moving toward his live location. Duncan was no less cunning. He had also made all the preparations for the bad conditions at this time. After a while, Vivian approached him and said, "You became so weak for a girl. I didn't expect this from you." But Duncan wanted to give them a chance to stay alive. He said, "I just want that girl. Take the rest of what you want." But thinking him weak, Vivian ordered her men to kill him. As soon as she turned around and started to walk back, Duncan suddenly pulled out a motion control machine gun and shot everyone down. Vivian was also badly hurt. She asked Duncan for help, but he left her to die. Blood was watching everything on his monitor. He said, "Let me come, I'll see him." But when Duncan arrived at his mansion, all Blood's bodyguards ran away just by seeing him. When Duncan stood in front of Blood, Blood picked up a sword to protect himself. But Duncan came up with an even bigger sword. He blew off his head in a single stroke and walked away. He then went to Cammy. Her entire body was damaged from a drug overdose. She did not regain consciousness for several days, lying lifeless on the bed like a coma patient. One morning, when Duncan woke up, he found many newspaper cuttings and pictures placed on his bed. The newspaper mentioned the same incident that often gave him nightmares. Before he could understand anything, he saw Cammy standing there, pointing a gun at his head, ready to kill him. Cammy asked, "Why did you kill my family? And why did you leave me alive that day?" It turned out that many years ago, someone on a mission deliberately gave false information to Duncan, because of which he killed an innocent family, and that family was Cammy's. Duncan had long repented his sins. That's why he took care of Cammy from childhood. He even sent Edian Ukror to her every year. Duncan said, "Press the trigger. Maybe I have no repentance for my sins." Cammy thought deeply and finally fired the shot. But she didn't kill Duncan. Duncan wasn't a bad guy. If he was, he would never have helped her. The real villain was the man who killed her family. Cammy said, "We can find him." Duncan replied, "Yes, I can find him." And with that, the story ends.